Good morning, boys and girls. Today I'm going to show you how to subtract mixed numbers, which is topic 12-9 in your math book. Okay, so before we begin, let's review the steps we learned in class. Step 1 tells us to stack the problem. Step 2, subtract the fractions. Step 3, rename and rewrite. Step 4, subtract the whole numbers. And Step 5, simplify. So many of the steps we are going to use in subtracting mixed numbers look like what you learned yesterday for adding mixed numbers. There's just a few small changes, so let me show you how to go about doing this. So my first problem is 3 4/9 minus 1 6/9. Step 1 says to stack the problem. So be sure your fractions are on top of each other and they stay together, and your whole numbers are on top of each other and they stay together as well. My next step is to subtract the fractions. When I look at my fractions, I see I have 4/9 minus 6/9. I can't do that because 6 is larger than 4. So essentially, I have to borrow from the 3, which means I have to rename this fraction. I need more ninths. So I'm going to borrow one whole. So my 3 will become a 2. And like I said, I need more ninths. And ninths as a whole are 9/9. So I have to add that to the fraction that I already had. When I do that, I get 4 plus 9, which equals 13 over 9. So 4/9 plus 9/9 equals 13/9. This is my new fraction. I'm not using this anymore. My 6/9 is going to stay the same. But since there's so much going on in here, I want to not only rename, but I want to rewrite this. So let's just scoot this over. My whole number is a 2. So I have 2 13/9, and I'm subtracting 1 6/9. Now that I renamed and I rewrote it, I can subtract the fractions. So 13 minus 6 equals 7. My denominator stays the same. So the fraction part of this problem is 7/9. Now I can subtract my whole numbers. 2 minus 1 equals 1. So let's check for step 5. Let's see if we could simplify. 7 over 9. I can't simplify this any more than it is. So my final answer is 1 7/9. Let's try one more. So this new problem is 7 2/8 minus 2 5/8. Let's just scoot this down a little bit more so we could see all those steps. Okay, so step 1 says to stack the problem. My fractions are above each other. My whole numbers are above each other. Now I have to subtract the fractions, step 2. When I look at this problem again, I can see that 2/8 minus 5/8 can't happen because 5 is larger than 2. So I need to borrow some. I need to take one whole from my whole number here. So my 7 will become a 6. I'm borrowing a whole, but I'm dealing with fractions, so I have to keep it as fractions. I need more eighths, so eighths as a whole would be 8/8. Now I can add these two together. I have 2/8 plus 8/8 equals 10/8. So my fraction is not this anymore. It's 6 10/8. So let's rewrite this. My whole number is 6. My fraction is 10/8. I also need to bring over my subtraction sign and my other mixed number from the original problem. So now I need to subtract 6 10/8 minus 2 5/8. I renamed it. I rewrote it. Now let's subtract those fractions before we move on to that whole number. 10 minus 5 equals 5 over 8, and 6 minus 2 equals 4. Step 5 tells us to simplify, and I can't simplify that anymore. So 4 5/8 is my final answer. So remember to follow these steps when you are subtracting mixed numbers, and remember they're in your math folder. Okay, thanks for watching, and have fun subtracting.